Yo, what is up YouTube? And welcome back to another Lost Sword video. I've been having a lot of fun with this game. I've been playing it as a side game, and honestly, I can't stop playing it just because it's super fun. There's no energy limit like most gacha games, and I can keep playing. It is an idle game, but it is one of the more fun ones I've played, and today we're just going to be talking about what you guys should be getting with your 5-star hero selector. Now, the summon rates are really good in this game, and because it's an idle game, and because you get a lot of power out of dupes, you're pretty much going to always be summoning with the gems you get. There's a lot of characters you can get from the pool, and you really want to summon because, one, it'll give you, a framework for your roster. There's going to be 2 main comps you can run in this game, and you really want to see, which comp you're going to run pretty early on. And 2, because you'll get a lot of mileage coins, which you can use by clicking the shop here and going to exchange shop. You go down the mileage, you can use these mileage coins that you get from summoning. Now, you'll get a ton of these just early on because the game throws at you a ton of summons, and you're going to want to purchase this 5-star hero or character selection ticket. Now, obviously, you want to delay it as long as you can, that way you can fill in the slots in your team, but you can actually use it on the first and second day if you have an idea of what you want to build. And even though you might think, oh, 4K, isn't this super expensive? Well, there's a one-time purchase per account that is 1,600 for the same exact thing. You can see that I already purchased it and used mine. It's at 1,600 coins, and this one is the monthly one for 4K. So basically, you want to keep summoning, play through the game, and kind of just see what characters you pull for. I mentioned that there were 2 comps that you can play. The first one is like a melee comp built around Diane and even Lancelot. These 2 are going to be the core of your knight comp, especially in the early and mid game, and even in the late game. I think this is going to be the best late game comp in my opinion, and they're really, really good because Diane will buff knights. So Diane buffs knights, she gives them extra damage, she will heal everyone on your team, but will give knights extra melee damage and additional damage. So that is why you're going to see her with the knight comp. The reason why Lancelot's in this comp is because she is just the best knight. Knights can be either damage dealers, they can either be tanks, or they can be bruisers. She's like a bruiser tank damage dealer. She just drains a lot of HP and does a crap ton of damage. So because of that reason, they're the 2 cores I'd say for this comp. Now the next comp is the range comp. The range comp is going to center around Tiamat, who is a wizard. She is the highest damage output in PvE in the game right now. And if I scroll down here, it's going to be built around this support here in Galahad. And the reason why Galahad is very good is because she buffs wizards and archers. So she will buff the 2 ranged classes, and while being a knight, she's a tank. So she will be able to soak the damage for your team. So because of that, it's going to come down to what archetype do you actually get lucky and summon around. So for example, if you pull like a Lancelot, which I did, I re-rolled for her, it's very, very good to actually, select her Diane, especially if you have other knights around her. Just because you have Lancelot doesn't mean Diane is like the automatic choice. You have to see, if you have other knights that are very good. So I actually ended up pulling Kay, who's also a very good knight, and she's like a very, very good damage dealing knight, which synergizes very well with this comp. It's because I had Kay and Lancelot, I pulled for Diane, and then I ended up using Claire, who's another knight, for my PvP team. Now on the flip side, if you are running the range comp, let's say you have like a Tiamat or you have like a Bedivere, then pulling for Galahad is a very good option because she buffs both of them. They're just super, super strong together. You really want to play around synergies in this game because the boss fights get pretty hard pretty quickly. So because of that, you want to see what characters you have and how strong they are, how good they are in the respective class, and see if you want to commit to that comp. For rangers, Tiamat's very good, Bedivere is very good, or not rangers. For ranged, Bedivere is very good, Neo Bedivere, of course. Tiamat's very good. Another good option if you actually get her, not her, is going to be, if I can scroll up, Tristan is also a very good option as well because she's an archer that does a ton of damage. Another really good one could be something like a Lisa, who's a very powerful damage dealer as well and is an archer. So it really comes down to, what did you reroll for? What archetype did you get lucky and summon into? But what if you already know what you are playing and, let's say you pull the Tiamat and you already have a Galahad already. Then what do I do to round it out? Well, you could pull for another character to fit that archetype, but if you feel like you already have enough, pieces to fit your range comp, then you want to go for Merlin. You don't have to go for a healer because you get a healer for free. Merlin is like the best all-around support in the game because she has AoE CC in these 2 freezes, which is super, super OP. And she also has this crit rate buff, which is extremely powerful at buffing your team's damage. It's going to be the same for the Knight comp. If you already know that you have like the pieces, you have Deanne already, you have Lancelot already, then Merlin is a very safe choice because of how powerful her support capabilities are, because of the CC she provides and how much damage she can do. You never really have to worry about a healer because Guinevere is free, so don't really worry if you're lacking a healer. Deanne is also a healer as well, although her raw healing isn't as high. So because of that, in the Knight comp, you will be using Deanne and Guinevere together anyways. But if you're running the range comp with like Tiamat and Galahad and whatever, don't worry about getting a healer with your selector if you have them both, because you already have Guinevere. So it really comes down to your team archetype. Just look at your roster. I know it's kind of a cheesy way to say there's no right answer, but it really comes down to what you actually get from your summons and what comp you want to go for. Whether you want to go for the range comp or the melee comp, it's really up to you. I personally just got rolled into the melee comp. That's why I'm playing it, but the range comp is a perfectly viable option as well. In the case that you have no idea what you're going to go for because of the fact that you didn't actually get anything that leads to an archetype, whether it be range or melee, the best option is to not purchase the selector. I know that sounds terrible because you probably want to choose what you want, but it's really not worth it unless you have the ability to select one character to actually just fill out your team. And in this game, you'll get a ton of summons anyways. If you mess up on your selector or aren't happy with it, keep in mind the summon rate is super high. I pretty much have half of the 5-star. Actually, I have more than half. And I've been only playing for 2 days. Actually, like 1.5 days. And I'm completely free to play. You can see, yeah, I'm completely free to play. I don't know where to go, but basically there's something in the shop that shows where if you buy something, you get something for free. I didn't even purchase anything, so you are super safe. It's okay. You can hold on to your selector. Honestly, you can go for whatever you want. If there's a waifu that you want, that's going to take priority over everything, of course. If you really like one of these characters, definitely go for them. I know some people are really a fan of Mia for some reason, so that's why they go for her. But yeah, in my opinion, fill out your melee and range comp depending on what you have if you want to be the most efficient. But in the end, it will ultimately come down to you. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this guide. The selector is very flexible. It just comes down to what comp you want to build. Don't trust tier lists too much because you're going to notice that pure strength doesn't really matter in this game. You really need to synergize your characters, which is kind of the beauty of this game. You get to have a lot of fun building your team. But just keep in mind, you will eventually get all of the characters. The biggest power spike you're going to get is with the dupes, because you can see the stat gains are crazy from these dupes, right? 40% stats on everything, 50%, and then 60%. Yeah, it's going to be insane. So, you definitely have a lot of flexibility. Just let me know in the comments down below what you guys actually selected to round out your team comp. And I will see you guys next video.